How's it going, everyone? And I see the comments on my PSN deals videos, and I know you guys want me to cover other games, cover games that I haven't played before, etc, etc. I get it, it gets a little bit redundant hearing me talk about Batman the Arkham Collection for the 85th time, but that deal for $5.99 is always spicy, and there's people that watch those videos and haven't played those games. But at the same time, I saw the reception for when we did our video covering deals under $2 for the PSN 30th anniversary sale, and it seemed like you guys appreciated me talking about games and just bringing attention to games that you haven't heard about. Well, a lot of those games, I even said in the video, they weren't games that I had played before, they just looked interesting to me from an under $2 standpoint. In this video, I sat down yesterday, picked up some games that were at a very, very low price point, played a bit of them, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts. Now, these games were super cheap, all under $2, and going into games that are priced under $2, I'm not expecting the world out of them. You gotta set your expectations in line, but sometimes it's kind of fun playing games that aren't your AAA big budget titles that are getting 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, and you find these gems under the cracks, so to speak, and I feel like we got a few of them here. We got 3 games to go over, and I'm gonna try to do this series relatively consistently. Again, you guys know my situation, and if you don't, I generally like to play every major game that does come out, so the idea of me then going back and playing indies and other games, and there's games I want to replay, it gets a little bit difficult. That's why I hope you guys are a little bit understanding of that situation of, you know, I'm playing Fantasia Neo Dimension right now, I'm playing Marvel's Rivals, I've got a lot of other games that I do want to play that are more recent, and, you know, games that I want to replay as well from a selfish standpoint, games that I love, and I like to go back and play them every now and again. That also juggling other titles. I want to do it, but just give me a little bit of time. So, with that being said, got 3 games to go over in this video, and all of these games are on sale as a part of the PSN's anniversary sale, and they are heavily discounted, so we'll go over them one by one. Starting things off, we have 9 Monkeys of Shaolin, 90% off for $1.99. This is an action beat-em-up that initially starts off incredibly simplistic, but as you play it, as you would expect with a game like this, it gradually introduces a lot of mechanics. Now, I think for those of you that are familiar with beat-em-ups, you're gonna find this game relatively easy on the normal difficulty. I'm not the best at beat-em-ups, and this game also does have a parry mechanic, which I think that is one aspect that I absolutely detest in games, and this is a total me problem, but games built around parrying, and that is a big element of 9 Monkeys of Shaolin. You'll even have these ranged archers that are attacking you where you have to parry them, and the parrying in this game is very generous. It is a total me issue of me being bad, and I don't know what it is, but just timing parries, it's not a deal breaker, obviously, but it's just not something I personally love in games, but it is one of the critical aspects of the game. You have your other combat attacks, you have a kick, a strike, you'll dodge around. It's pretty simple initially where you just have enemies coming at you, but then again, you'll have archers that'll come out, and you can't just attack the archers, you have to parry their attacks and then deflect it. And then they'll introduce environmental hazards as well, and they expand the gameplay options that you have in your disposal with charged attacks and other special abilities that you'll get. It's a fun game, it's a fun beat 'em up. Is it blow away? No. And the narrative didn't really hook me. You know, as a beat 'em up, this is the kind of game that I would probably check out from a narrative standpoint, but I do enjoy the gameplay, where I would probably be listening to a podcast or being on a call with some friends while playing a game like this, just because the story didn't do a lot for me where I was getting super invested into it. But I did dig the soundtrack, so I will give credit where that's concerned. But for $1.99, if you're into beat 'em ups, not a bad pickup, and one that, again, if the aesthetics and the setting as well, when you're talking about the Chinese setting, where I do feel like they did that really well aesthetically, and I gotta say, from an environment standpoint, I'm not gonna say this game has incredible visuals or anything like that, but from a color standpoint, a lot of the levels are incredibly colorful, and they've got some aesthetic choices that I do think are worthwhile. And narratively, for a lot of you guys, it might be more up your alley. You also upgrade your abilities, get different equipment, pretty basic stuff all in all. Next up, we have Fury Unleashed, an action roguelike, which this genre isn't really my cup of tea a lot of the times. I do play a lot of these games, like I love Dead Cells, I constantly talk about that game, but gave Fury Unleashed a shot. And by the way, this game is available on PlayStation Plus Extra, so you can play it that way. $1.99 for this. Right off the bat, I will say what drew me into this game is the visual style. I think it looks great from just an art direction standpoint. The game is incredibly bloody and it is incredibly violent and over the top, but that is totally up our alley when we talk about a fast-paced action roguelike like this. It does have an easy mode, but the easy mode does disable a lot of the trophies, so ain't nobody trying to do that. You'll probably play it in the normal mode, and it can get pretty challenging. This is another style of game that I am not great at, and it can get very bullet helly, where there's a lot of things going on in screen. The boss fights can be fairly challenging as well, but you've got a lot of different weapons. I was popping off with the flamethrower. I think the flamethrower is great, but utilizing the different weapons in terms of the different situations that you're gonna be encountered with, obviously gonna be a big aspect. When you die, typical roguelite stuff, you'll upgrade your character, and little by little, you'll have an improved character to go back into. Seems to be fairly replayable, and if you're into roguelike platformers as well, you'll enjoy it. Sprinting around also makes the game super fast-paced. You got sprinting, dashing, double jumping all right out the gate, and it does create a pretty fast-paced and vibrant experience in terms of just keep moving, and the combo system where you're chaining off kills together really emphasize that element of just keep moving, keep just causing mayhem. You can also melee. Enjoyable action roguelite. Is it the best roguelite I've ever played? And game like this? No, but I do like the comic book style aesthetic to it as well. Enjoyable game, $1.99, not a bad pickup. Again, also available on PlayStation Plus. Lastly, the game that really clicked with me and the game that I will be playing to completion is Anima Gate of Memories. The game is on sale right now for $1.99, and man, is this game perfect? Absolutely not. Is this game even good? There's an argument to be had on whether or not this game is even good. However, as an action title and with a narrative focus, I did enjoy this game. So far of what I've played of it, I am really enjoying it. Very much a clunky, like PlayStation 2 era action title, reminiscent of something like a Devil May Cry, fairly clunky and fairly janky, almost the charm of a game like this, and takes me back to, again, an era previously in gaming, and this game totally resonated with me. Gotta say, right off the bat, was blown away by how good this soundtrack is. Right off the top, in the menu, I just feel like you get this harrowing vibe to it that really goes with the thematics of the game. But I will also say, this soundtrack to me was at its best when you're just exploring and you're in the menus and things like that. It's got that more serene and harrowing feel that I think adds something to the atmosphere. The combat theme, so far the battle music, hasn't really blown me away. The combat actually has a little bit of depth to it. You've got different abilities you can utilize. You've got a skill tree where you'll upgrade attacks. And the early bosses actually did have some challenges. Another game that does have an easy mode to it. And looking through the trophies, it does look like there's a variety of different endings available to the game as well. Didn't find it immensely challenging so far. The bosses made you, on your feet a little bit and made you move quickly. We'll see how the game progresses. I will say, the voice acting for this game isn't outright bad, but it's a very mixed bag. There is some times where the voice acting is just atrocious, particularly early on in the game. You fight what's called a memory knight, and it was like one of the early initial bosses, or mini bosses if you want to look at it like that, and your companion character, so you've got two characters to play as, and you can ultimately alternate between the two, and that happens very early on, but it's Ergo and the Bearer. Ergo is, I guess, this like masculine infused dude, and yeah, his voice acting is absolutely comical. There's a moment as I'm playing this game and we get to this memory knight boss, and Ergo just starts speaking, and his voice acting is just so atrocious, like comically bad, that I audibly just started laughing, and I'm just like, yo, I've peaked at life at this point. I am playing Anima Gate of Memories on my day off. We bought it for $1.99. This is comically bad voice acting, and I'm like, this is what life's all about. You know what? This is what life's all about as I am playing Anima Gate of Memories. But even with that being said, when voice acting is bad like this, and it's like funny bad, when you're paying $1.99 for a game, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can laugh at it. So far, the tandem of the Bearer and Ergo, I will say this, I like them better than the tandem of Frey and Cuff from Forspoken, who I've said is, I think, the worst tandem in gaming history. From the games I've played, Frey and Cuff from Forspoken, the worst tandem. And you know what? If I can say anything about Anima Gate of Memories, is that the Bearer and Ergo have got them lapped. Even with the comical voice acting, it is hilarious to me. But nevertheless, I would say check this game out. If you like your story-driven, and the story so far hasn't been blowaway or anything like that, but, and you're okay with more of a clunky action title, Anima Gate of Memories so far has been a good time, and this is the one that, because this style of game is gonna be more up my alley than, let's say, a beat-em-up or even a roguelite, I'm gonna play Anima Gate of Memories to completion. I'm actually having a good time with it. That is not to say that it is the best of these three games. Honestly, it's probably the weakest of these three games, just for my taste, and the game that resonated with me the most. Anima's the one that I gotta give the W to, and, you know, not even W in the sense of I'm comparing these three games, but personal enjoyment out of the time I've played these, Anima was the one that, again, clicked with me the most, and I'm gonna play more of it and play it to completion. So, that's gonna do it for me. Again, gonna try to do these videos a little bit regularly, maybe bi-weekly, something like that, but I actually had a good time, and the fact that I got exposed to Anima Gate of Memories and I sat down and played it, that honestly makes this video a gigantic W, and even thinking about doing something like this, a gigantic W. And if I can discover more games like that and play more games like that, maybe this series has a place that I could be exposed to some great games. I mean, there's so many games that are already in my library, whether it be on PlayStation or PC, that, you know, we've only got a finite amount of time in this world, and that's just the ultimate reality of it, that getting to everything is damn near impossible. But sometimes you'll discover, like an Anima, totally clicks with you. So that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching. And if you guys have any like lower key titles that you want me to check out, let me know. It's got to be on sale. Ain't nobody trying to pay $20 for an Anima Gate of Memories, $1.99. All right, sign me up. $20. Get the hell out of here. But, yeah, let me know in the comments section down below, and we're gonna try to keep it under a certain price threshold. Ultimately, we'll probably run out of games under $2, but let's try to keep it under 10. Let's try to keep it under 5, like around that range. I would really like to cap out at 10. Obviously, there are games that are more expensive, like an Anno Mutationum, for example. I think it's on sale right now. It's like $12 and change. That's a great game that I recommend a lot of people to check out, but that doesn't fall under that price threshold. But who knows? Like, this series is gonna be in flux and gonna be evolving a little bit, I would imagine. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.